Hi art friends! Today I'm going to show you how to be making an agamograph. An agamograph is a type of optical illusion made popular by the artist Jacob Agam. And an agamograph is an optical illusion that when viewed from two different sides, the image actually changes. So we're going to be learning how to make one of these today. Let's get started. The materials you're going to need are crayons or something to color with, some glue, a pencil. If you have a Sharpie, that's awesome. A black marker will work, or you can even use a black crayon, a pair of scissors, and then the template that should have went home with you. If you don't have a template, you can just print one of these off online. It's called, once again, an agamograph. So we're going to start by taking our first template. You know this is our first template because it has the dotted line down the center and the letters A through H are separated from the numbers 1 through 8. On our paper, we are going to draw a large and in charge image. We want to make sure whatever we're drawing doesn't have too many crazy details included and that it fills up the space. We don't, however, want to cross that dotted line. So one image is going to live on the alphabet letters while the other image is going to live on the numbers. This is why I like using the Sharpie. So it defines my lines and where I'm drawing. My image is big and it fills up the whole space. Now on the next side, I'm going to draw something different. Now that I have my two images, I'm ready to color. When coloring my picture, I want to make sure that the colors I choose work well together. But I do have to remember that the background of my image, or my agamograph, needs to be two separate colors. So the background on this one is going to be black, and the background on this one is going to be this pink color. Now that my image is all colored, it's time to start cutting. So I'm going to start by cutting out the square or the rectangle that is my agamograph. We want to get off all these extra edges that we don't need and clean up our image a little bit. Now, it is super important that you try your hardest to cut on the lines. We're going to be folding this agamograph and gluing it back together, and if the lines are all wonky and kind of strange, it might not work as well. So once my image is now cut out, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut on the dotted line. I should have two separate images now. From there, I'm going to take my next template, which is blank. This one looks very similar, but there's two main differences. It does not have the dotted line down it, and the letters and the numbers are actually mixed up. And that mix-up is what's going to help create our optical illusion. I like to start with the alphabet letters first, so I'm just going to push the number 1 to the side. And as slow as I can, I'm going to cut on the solid line and cut apart each one of my letter strips. Once all my letter strips are cut out, I'm going to start to glue them down. I like to put glue on the back of the strip versus on the template, but you could do it either way. And we're looking again for that letter to match the letter on our final template. Smooth it down and make sure it's as in that long rectangular box as possible. So now that all my letter pieces are glued, it should go every other. The numbers are the only ones left, and that's where my second image comes into play. So I'm going to take this image and again cut on the solid line. Now that all my strips are cut, it is time to glue. Like I said, you can run the glue down the template. Just try to make sure you're not hitting the other ones you've already glued, because your Agamograph will get a little sticky and it'll become hard to fold. And you want to make sure you haven't covered up the number too much. I can still see that 3 is kind of sitting there. If you're using markers, sometimes that becomes a little tricky. Okay, we're so close to done now. I'm going to use my scissors to cut again all these white strips off and my glue just to make sure everything is stuck down. Now that I'm all cut out, it's time for the optical illusion and the folding part. So I'm going to start with the Agamograph facing the table. And this is going to be an accordion fold or a fan fold. I want to make sure that when I fold it in, I'm creasing the edge and that it's really only going to that faint black line that I can sort of see on the other side. When I flip it over, we want this edge to touch over here. Sometimes when you're folding, this is when your pieces might start to fall off, so it's okay to pause and glue a few things back together if you need to. Like that one's not glued very well. So I'll grab my glue again and squish down, making sure it's staying in its box. And now for the final reveal. If we folded everything correctly, we should be able to pull apart our Agamograph just a little bit. We want to keep all those pleats in there. And when viewed from one side, I have these lovely star and moon. And when viewed from the other, I have my flowers. So I hope you have fun creating your Agamograph, and I can't wait to see what you create.